Asheda Gavana Langole Lenku, Your Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, all protocols observed. Utaniruhusu Your Excellency niongee Kimasai kidogo, alafu niongee Kiswahili kidogo. Sasa I think la muhimu leo ni kuelezea watu wetu umuhimu wa siku hii. Na Maasai karong kutoka peneo na ngini na to kusiaira to kina Kiswahili ngini. Na kabacha ta yung kutuke peneo sampurul Maasai Lagi kayu niki ngamukora ke pinini ngi samburu musuri ini ngake najo marneja maro rok noto nal Maasai langaro kale samburi kala gongo benengwa 700 kilometers 800 kilometers kutoka kayu nal Maasai nai parnta into kena bo tana nai kilikwa nanta amne jejo jonta na kijosiyo kede jobal Maasai nile kwe ndogi tinara keno mopu na kayo nigiliki kinena to kutinare nyono moron to duka nabo ende jo das marne jeji ende jo medin ngongai na di keber nyono molo nyonare no molo kite joba magora bagi jola yeni ki jong kera ya magora bagi nkia ntito na yen marreja nyodo ti shugoga kite joban kera kite joban to kutinare no mopu molong kop meshol masan ngop kanang gop nanang gara yenye mulo kora pinya to kutinare pimi tengishon nigama yan ngai na dikeber nyodo shuru ale pa yano wontene lo lumba nyo shurua achente jonade wolen kajine almase ende jontogu a nyo shurua aba yen ba magana lo trinywa tempere ntogu na de jele kwe molo ka ki jogi yolo ende jajashe la onto monogol ba yen ende jajashe Ashe Oleng, Ashe Ngai, Ashe William Ruto. Ita lengono tongoro yu, ni shugo yung gulubang, etu kubonjoraru. Nando shokaten kagal Maasai. Kore nambar ni kitita dati shugo yung kayung kop, aitu mia William Ruto. Kayo naligin taya joki, gini historia kar alda ke kobo. Kore mbari nukutuma laba yan lo lumpo Ruto, alga lenjin. Nugutu magete serena to room. Nugutu mukijoka bag na meningo ki yontuki. Nigim pembere style mudi. Na kete jo meningo ki yo amgada idaba kule presidenti oti ana Kenya. Iki choma da bag al Maasai atu mkenya ta joginjo yo Amboseli nejo mutum. Idaba jo. Nugu bonde ke jingake moi niki joginjo yo Amboseli eiteshoro. Keishorwa. Nugu bonde ke jingake bag niki joginjo yo Amboseli niki gelokonga ne keishorwa. Nugu boniki jinga kuuru niki joginjo yo Amboseli keishorwa kore lari opata Ruto president ete ngash nengor yo la yeni wa maratan kong na gorom ke dilonga kare na to no maratan ko shwa ko marata le ngoju bogin tana juante nengor yo bugoro gun ne jogi yo kor nan la yeni lal kalenjin mayngor nan kado tanaru le law Kora na Amboseli na turia kape bengaduwa na nguko na irewa kai bongo na yelal kalenjin na shukokil Maasai amka ta da baga pa national Maasai keji de kora leba yan kora baltunga na lenche o shoma kulibona na o soipan tongo benche tal Maasai pungo no boy bonul kalenjin ninja ta ke aderi kito yo de Kenya madam kurene de lele ko dolta ku gun to dolta idringede Lalaba Maasai gen kerai meden kerai naini meden naelari tana mede kedel Maasai naelari arake tumen kerai ni tiwa on kerai ni alai adaptation adapt marreja kayo nani ki mena bar Maasai yote kore siaga tangkara kampusel na shogal Maasai lang la Kajiado igro yo ya la Ruto eta lalang mogurdo alal ka lenjin ende jolalang kudo urdo ka lenjin eta Maasai ni Eta mayana bagdol bayani edin ngongai engor dal donje bor Ruto lal Maasai tatera yew o mi yew kidini gade deine ketu nanto ga na yew ne ngwakal Maasai aral bayel ngop no dona kalo itu da gen ngopang na de jobale kwe me tema na isida lo prilenye ne de jo to gile kwe tin ngona la rin kwe ko la rin kwe na altungana kolo itu linjile ki nyor nigili ga lo mon ligiret Nungwa, nugu bakal lomon kanya kalau gili gua yeret tangga ngamata. na kayieu wanabarna ko larinkwe almasa lang la Kajiado tangaraki jamana Amboseli ona itasa yonga itanabri kayieu na ko larinkwe kunyi aralinji kayieu na jokora na kura na lotu korenyo alente jodongufu kora na kura na waja kora na kura na lotu ente jeneja kora na kura na lotu marakaita ide shukulari ko kumpisha imale meta impisha jonja kura tanajishetu ngato kura marako bore pisha yana kop tana mabore kayu nani kimelala tamayana ngaido na tiene olmase kora lari ko la Kajiado pogno ya kura mada na barle me gerpisha nya jo a Ruto idisho yo Amboseli na kora kele me gora ja Ruto emencho kura aja tunya emencho kele me cho Ruto jo a Ruto amagete jodo parashina bro njaka takaidi tafasali ngayo na Kiswahili kete jodo parashina korel tungani leme Ruto kura tana leme yo ne shora amki yolda jegel tunga leme yo ne shora tene kedel tunga na Kajiado yitam kutu kura ina baruto na anjo na kura ina baruto po koro kura ina cham Ruto ente yei na korel tunga leme yo ne Ruto kura nolo lera dengene kora bantu na jegel lera dengene polai tuwe na bigel tunga ligital gus na kora ba meite una dejo tuba gol gital lilio na suicide neji tuba soma lara dengene lara ini mrefu niligonongo lelengu rafiki yangu wacha niseme kwa Kiswahili. Your Excellency the President of Kenya, I want to thank you so much on behalf of all our people. No one has done this to Maasai, and no one will ever do something of this magnitude to our people. When hii park ya Amboseli ilishukuliwa wakati ya Kenyatta, na Kenyatta wa Maasai walimwendea akakataa. Wakati ya Moi wa Maasai waliendea Moi akakataa. Maasai wakaendea Kibaki wakakataa. Wa Maasai wakaendea Uhuru wakakataa. Wewe baada ya mwaka moja tu ya kura umekubali kurudisha hiyo wa Maasai hiyo kura. Hiyo ardhi. Na Mungu atakubariki vile umependa watu yetu. Sisi tumesema ule mtu hayuko na sisi na ule mtu hayuko na Ruto kwa hii kura ni mtu hapendi sisi, ni mtu hapendi Amboseli, ni mtu hapendi wa Maasai, na wa Maasai ni maomba kwa heshima hiyo mtu asione kura yenu moja aende lereta ngene
Erejo Rosa Muhivilo lereta ngene. Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba kumkaribisha Governor Ole Ntutu aweze kuja kutuzungumzia ili tumalize hafla hii. Karibu sana Governor Ntutu. Iro ningene rejo samburhilang? Ereja.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, all protocol observed. Maasai langoban pokin larikok lang ligiara de neweji. Ondayo loshola babo yeyo enda subaboken basis yola idoriani ma endo dumusi yesieren endo dumusi yoldo ne dumudo yengi diguminiata to dumudo yengi di siere niata ma engo najira ado ma sindai sindai endo buldango nadua wore da mo eyiwe la bagi dora da yo pressure nikido mono duo ole lengua je be megi njirta da dankara gi di president kai gi bugo idere gi yo ayina ngasa jo. Your Excellency, mimi nataka nikushukuru sana. Leo hatuna mambo mengi na hatuna mengi ya kusema, lakini nikukuambia tu yala ambayo umefanya leo ni kubwa sana katika jamii yetu ya Kimaasai. Na wacha niseme sio hii tu ndio umefanya. Mabarabara ya lami ambayo ulikuja juzi kulonji Narok karibu kilomita 150, na pia ile uwanja ya International Airport ambayo umetupea kama Narok, na pia kuanzishia sisi ama kumalizia sisi hospitali ile ya level 4 hospital pale Narok. Jumatatu utakuwa huko Samburu kulonji barabara sahihi ya kilomita 250 ama 300, na wa vijana wetu na wasichana wetu wanafanya kazi katika serikali yako. Leo Your Excellency, mimi nataka nikuambie na uchukue hii kutoka viongozi ya Maasai ya kwamba sisi tutaenda kukupea kura yetu 2027 ili urudie kuwa president mara mwaka 10. Ainejediu ana manager. Inejediu ana manager. Tudu musi yesiere note jo neja kidejo taata tenkop Amboseli. Anko nanjido ipokin tudu musi yesieren. Your Excellency, utaniruhusu niseme mambo matatu kwa Kimaasai ndio nipe ndugu yangu Lelengu aendelee. Lo Maasai lang. Arejo doi lo Maasai. Idude ninyi lo Maasai. Kajene. Eji kajene. Kidi agarabandai karar gafanani linyi. Pogiro kuni. Orbungei. OMCAs. Erikore nyi boke na kanisa. Njere ege suj. Enasia Amboseli. Nige sujungulie pa kumogankop. Nige sujesia yol jamus. Sub-county. Omerabana nelo enkop Kenya na itinye. Amayana kitu abajo kindai meloklayo ngishu nara udarmran. Kedolua. Kedolua rara kona. Wakianga na kitu. Pama ninyana idinimbakon. Ashua dininyorkon. Kanyona ishuko kiala yoni. Lorka kisang. Oya Amboseli isho yok. Nishorut nama iulang kolong. Eji nyo. Mbonga sina na kuziki mojiki nono kare ngona njingo nanji siya doi ngona yidi mera doli ajo kide jobo kintumba nede jora doi neki jo wara lunga nipa nelo lera de nyo eji nelo lera de nyo ni korkona mbeda duage gorsini nyanga ya mera dogi ani ngabage jor Maasai or buket akesi dai olang wale kai ine jedi wane meneja paka nyo yoga lagi Ruto tiniki bonwa kaya ushokukura pokin nito ningo pokin na jore peki ndibe ne ende jo niki dumunya pokin na abu Narok November ndarigini yongwan ompaka ndarigini na udo Eldari amudine wei na akibodu adung ndile osororua yolo labaina tine wei da kibodu adung na ndile osororua na yu wakana jokindai ulo sholang lor Kajiado kinyorindai ni dole dara jogo sudya granda engiteng tenarok do ya bishuru wagia na giteng na de japa aror gavanai olenduzu ashwa olelit olelengu amaro monwa na dogi na ba mu keredi yogra Maasai bokin abayana baji ayu wakana jogo la shara ine lol jamus na ligi la shara ine yodi marsabit na ligi la shara yodi la shara ine yodi sub counties bokin enda yolo na rajo kisujeda na bagwa binyi na waki pegi shugua na vile nikitu shugudua Amboseli aya utama eule nkolong kiada ngwa biku sabuki ningerasu wale danda kwa bala ikibia nikiada nkeroro pegi shugua nkopa ngapa na waki wale danda kwa Narok kiada ngwa bina isho mugia ba igero kulega itunganak negi shugua de jola iduriani idize nebo yok ada jodoi idize nebo yok wale doi jamusi igero kukingole ngara ideri wakingole rara igeri ngara the sub-county niki njol jamus negi ligiaganda ajo giaga sujidana na gwabinyi boke no mpaka niki shugu wama ni nyana ajide ni miara rashe miara rashe dorga fana nilinyo erikore nyi amada baba yagendaru embe gidiaba kera sabagara na gitu egi yuna ore rara ndogi abo Narok na nanure shunda la yoro leru mas na gare shintai ambaga nyorentai ni yo na yuna lo tuno longa dolki shunyolo shopo gen ba dine we da gbo do ay iri yanko be Kenya ali gidel do ngana ka jo kay gidi ma ando du musiye bor iri seren bogen ma ando bol dango na dua ashe
lama sailang anda soba nanga igil keben pai anda dua na kishiba bara anda dua anda kishiba na kishiba ba amena bana jime ba na kigwa ne Amboseli kerabaya na kitu na inabegi jira Your Excellency, leo kuna slogan moja imetokelezea tutakueleza nikirejeni polongani nikijironelo lera dengene wacha ndutu ya kutafsirie lakini Your Excellency, on a more serious note, as the chairman of the Ma Economic Bloc and the spokesman for the Ma Nation, on behalf of the Maa people, I want to thank you most sincerely for continuously gracing our cultural weeks, beginning with the first edition in Maasai Mara, Narok County, the second in Samburu, and today, the third edition in Amboseli, Kajiado County. Your Excellency, today is double celebration. As we celebrate our culture that has become iconic, we also celebrate a correction of injustice and the turn of history by yourself, by returning the Amboseli National Park management to the county government of Kajiado. This is a story that has shed blood along the way. People heartbroken, the economy of the Maasai is ruined, the animals, dispatched in all directions. It created a lose-lose situation for everybody. The wildlife lost it, the people lost it, the environment broke down, and because of the non-acceptance that coexistence between the wildlife and human being is the way of the future. We celebrate you, Mr. President, because we know it took enormous courage, because the persuasion, the voices to the contrary, the resistance, both locally and internationally, required a man of defiance, a man who understood what historical injustice is, a man who has his people in his heart, a man of courage. And that is who you are to us, the people of Kenya, the Maa nation, and we celebrate you today, Mr. President, for listening the voiceless, for protecting the oppressed, for defeating injustice against justice. You stood today correcting the Maa history, because the Maa nation has been lamenting, has been crying, has been praying, has been doing everything to say, while we have been the community that has embraced other Kenyans to live with us, we continue to suffer serious historical injustices on our land. And today, Mr. President, you have stood with us. Why has the Maa nation been congregating and talking about the Maa culture celebration? There are several reasons, Mr. President. One, our culture has become the single most African culture recognized worldwide. If you talk to anybody outside Kenya, they will think that everybody in Kenya is Maasai. Because the book of Joseph Thompson in 1885 said, through Maasai land, and it was from the coast all the way to Lake Turkana, it was all Maasai land. The white colonialists broke Maasai land, set us apart between us and our brothers in north, turned our land into the white highlands, put us into what then called closed districts, created stereotypes that Maasais hawataki shule, Maasais wanakunywa dawa ya porini badala ya dawa, Maasai hawezi kuchunga wanyama. We congregate to write our own history. We congregate to break the stereotypes against our people. Your Excellency, there has been a lamentation about the young generation, watoto wa siku hizi. Your Excellency, the problem has been the parents wa siku hizi. We congregate because we want our children to understand our culture, to understand our values, to become true Africans, to understand patriotism in our language, to understand conservation in our way. We congregate because we want to bring a generation for tomorrow that is proudly Kenyan, proudly African, and proudly Maa. That is why we congregate. We congregate to raise our voice against concerns in our development, against the fragmentation of land, against our people not participating in their civic duty, particularly in elections. And today, we want to say, by you removing the excessive vetting against the people in the borders of our county, that directive was not for Somalis alone. It was for the Maasai in Kajiado and Narok. It was for the Maasai in northern Kenya. it was for the Bukusus in Busia, it was for every Kenyan who is in the border, and in the coming election, our people are taking their national identity cards to exercise their right and contribute meaningfully for the future of Kenya. We congregate to talk about that. We congregate to talk about that because the stereotypes about Maasai will change. The Maasai will take its pole position in our country, take its rightful place, go to school, and protect our national heritage, our wildlife. Your Excellency, there has been naysayers talking about you and your commitment to the Maasai on Amboseli. We have been told all manner of stories. Hiyo ilikuwa ni hadithi, hiyo mlidanganywa, hiyo haiwezekani. Hata wakora wengine walikuja hapa kusema it is not in the constitution. We congregate today to celebrate you as you fulfill this important promise of our history. And we want to tell the naysayers that the county government of Kajiado, in collaboration with our national government, our partners in conservation, will create a third generation park that looks after our wildlife, look after our environment, and look after our community. Conservation and wildlife protection will no longer just be about the wildlife alone. It is going to be about the ecosystem and about coexistence. For those who say this will not happen, it has happened. And as the spokesman of the Maa Nation and the chairman of the economic bloc, we rally our community. We rally our community. We rally our community to support President William Ruto in the election of 2027. We have even a slogan, Your Excellency, tunasema hii itatujua, hii imeenda, hii imekamilika, hii imeifa. La Maasai keo, keidipe, kekitumuta, kekitejo, kekingilo shororei, yolo la jami kingilo rorei, ni yolo le nikiti ajo kiti ore nemikiti, amen kekiti, kiti pokin, nikindipa, nemigili, nikiteja, eitwaning, kekiteja, basi ya